The odd phenomenon of racial passing says something about the odd way that race is defined. In America, at least, race, particularly as applied to Black people or people of African ancestry, does not go by the duck test. And, the duck test is, well, if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's got feathers like a duck, and it waddles like a duck, and it swims like a duck, you probably got a duck on your hands. Okay, but that doesn't apply to a race, at least as applies to people called Negro, Black, Colored, Afro-American, African-American. The rule there is if you've got a known ancestor from sub-Saharan Africa, you're Black. And you're Black if you have no Black features, pale skin, and if your, hair texture is, not at all curly. You could have blonde hair and blue eyes, but you're either Black or you're passing if your great, great, great grandmother or grandfather was Black, was from sub-Saharan Africa. So there's a whole problem there with the whole idea of how we define race. Because race, at least as it applies to Black people, is outside the duck test. I was thinking about this when I saw this thing on a place called East Jackson. And in East Jackson, there are a lot of people there who are Black, very strongly insist they are Black, and, appear to be Caucasians. But that's not a weird phenomenon. Now, on the other hand, you get ridiculed if you're somebody like Elizabeth Warren and you have a distant ancestor who was Native American, and then you claim kinship with Native Americans. You're ridiculed. But if that ancestor had been Black, had been from sub-Saharan Africa, then whoever you are, you would be considered of African heritage in America. Okay, and I'm really just trying to point out the whole weirdness of it. That any definition of race is going to have difficulties. And the definition of race in America as applied to Black people has special difficulties because, some people who it applies to, basically, what is race? Race are group appearance variations, okay? And yet you don't have anything in your appearance that connects with that group, but again, you have a distant ancestor who belonged to that group. Then in America, you are African American. I just think the whole thing is, I just want to point out how weird the whole thing is and how confusing the whole thing is. And I hope you like seeing that. Bye.